Hello, my name is Quincy Coleman, founder of the Black Pride Movement, and today is our third installment of our 25-part web series. Today we're going to get into a little bit of kind of what we talked about in the last episode towards the end, group economics, black community, starting black businesses, why it's important to own black businesses and create business for ourselves. And I had a passage I wanted to read for you guys, but I can't seem to find it. It's from this book, Visions for the Black Man by Na'im Akbar. You should pick it up. It's really good on instilling black manhood and community and how stuff is supposed to work. So definitely pick it up. Today we're talking about community and why community is so important. Now, people say, Quincy, well, black people have communities. I said, no, you don't have communities. What you have are neighborhoods. A neighborhood is where you live. A community is where you store your value, where your money is stored, where people can come and shop with your people. That's a community. And as black people today, we have very little, if any, communities. Our special guest today is Brother Z. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, brother.
And Brother Z is an expert on businesses. He owns several businesses. He started black businesses, and he employed black people, so he knows the importance of having your own. And so I'm going to let him open up with an open statement for us.
Well, we know that it's extremely important that black people go in business for themselves, especially with the economic climate that we're living in right now. And as you stated earlier, brother, the community is the foundation pretty much of us being able to have sustainability in terms of economics. A lot of people know, but for those who don't know, 15% that we make up in this country, depending on who you ask, we're actually the 14th largest nation in the world. We would be with the GNP, or the total amount of dollars that we spend in this national economy.
And that means if black people were to just get up and go and move to whatever island and say this is ours,
right,
it would be the 14th richest place in the world.
Absolutely.
And that's a feat in of its own.
It's staggering.
It's staggering.
It's staggering. And I'm not sure, how many of our people truly understand the power that we have within ourselves. My perspective is that our greatest resources are our people. And because a lot of times when we want to go in business, we are impeded or deterred by the startup cost, which, just seems insurmountable a lot of times. So if you look at the fact that we do have the money and we disproportionately spend in many categories, Brother Quincy, in the areas of clothing, electronics.
And the producers are not stupid. What the producers do is they'll create clothing just for black people because they know you'll buy any old thing. Like Bentley. Bentley's coming out with a truck, and in one of the 2 Chainz songs, he says, "Oh, when they gonna make that Bentley truck?" And Bentley's never made a truck before, but because they know rich black people will buy it disproportionately, they'll make it just for you to make money off you. Just like when Polo, they used to have the small horses on their shirts, but when black people start winning, they came out with the big horses because they know that you'll buy these things.
Sure.
They know that your economic power is probably more powerful than any other group.
Absolutely.
Except them, but you buy disproportionately. You're not buying houses and things of value that can help you. You're buying clothes and phones and everything else that really doesn't matter in the big scheme of things.
Absolutely. Just to add on to that point, a lot of our people buy because of we buy disproportionately a lot of times because of just where we are, how we feel, the pain and some of the slave culture experiences that we've experienced. We buy beyond our means. I'm going back to the point that you made about the small horse to the large horse on the polo shirt.
Yes.
And as you and I have had conversations before, we've talked about how a lot of the fashion designers have even come out and made statements that they really don't make clothing for African Americans. Well, this again is more of a psychological play that if I reject you, then you will want my product even more. And so again, we have to understand a lot of the psychological tactics that are used against our people to embark and control, the disproportionate amount of money that we spend in this economy, which is actually in the trillions now.
Wow.
So that's incredible.
And you guys talk about how black people talk about how you ain't got money for the bills, and you don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have this and that, but you got trillions of dollars from everybody.
Yes.
$1 trillion, if we divide, if we each have $1 million, we can do something. But you guys spend $1 trillion, $1 trillion on nonsense and stuff that really means nothing in the big scheme of things, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, and if you think about taking those trillions or millions of dollars and actually uniting those dollars in our own communities, it's unlimited what we can do in terms of starting our own businesses, our own educational institutions, you know, our own retail stores, even small manufacturing facilities.
Because you need, it needs to be a chain. It can't just be you guys own stores, but the clothes you're getting them from white distributors, because you have to own everything from the cotton that produces the clothes,
Absolutely.
to the way to distribute it to get it to your factory, to the making of the clothes,
Absolutely.
to distribution of it,
Absolutely.
to the retailers. You need to own everything, because it can't just be like, well, I own McDonald's. Well, who do you get your stuff from? Who do you buy from? You know, you can't, you know, because you could buy diamonds from a black-owned jewelry store, but who's shipping those diamonds?
Absolutely.
It has to be a chain of
Absolutely.
black-owned things, and that's why it's so strong.
Absolutely,
You know?
absolutely. And again, and that's a good point, Brother Quincy, because we have to actually control the dollars from the very what they call first cost. And that's from the point of manufacturing or, you know, if you're digging for diamonds, or if you're growing cotton, or if you're growing whatever the product or commodity that you're dealing with, you have to control it from the very beginning in order to have an extended cost factor or a larger profit margin.
And some black people will say, oh, well, you know what, we want to shop at black-owned stores, but they're too expensive, or there aren't any out there. Well, I can understand that. We have a black-owned store where we live in Rosedale Park. It's called Foodland. It's up there. I know the owner's name, but I'm blanking on it right now. I'll put him on my small business page, though. And he owns a grocery store called Foodland.
Right.
And it's, you know, nice grocery store, nice size, you know.
Sure.
Employs blacks. Some people wouldn't want to go there because they say Walmart is cheaper, which it is cheaper, but you got to spend money in gas going out there, so you could pay 30 cents less for eggs.
Absolutely.
And help somebody Walmart is the most racist corporation out there, based in Arkansas. They don't like you at all, but you rather support them than to pay 30 cents more and support your brother who lives in this neighborhood.
Sure.
You know, and it's going to grow the community and help bring some money back in the community.
Absolutely.
Or me and Brother Z, man, we were getting our car fixed at an auto repair place, and I met with him. I saw him, and I said, "Oh, what seems to be the problem?" He told me the problem. We started discussing, and I said, "Yeah, brother, we need to be able to go to our own auto mechanics, not these Arabs who are ripping us off, you know, because there's no other option. They can say, here, $500 per, you know, whatever, because you have no other place to go, you know. It's either this Arab or that Arab. You can't say, I'm going to take my business to a brother that's going, I know he's going to do me good. You got a choice between Arabs, and really in Detroit, all Arabs own all them auto shops. I can't even think of any other, you know.
Yeah, well, for the most part, that didn't used to be the case. When we used to have, you know, African American or African descent auto repair shops, you know, and there are a few here and there, and that and you have to go extra mile. We have to take the extra effort to find out where our people are. And
Henderson Glass is one of them. They do the glass. Henderson Glass. They do the black-owned glass for your windows if your windows break. If your glass, if you go car window glass, they do that. You know.
And I believe they're a franchise.
Yeah.
They're a franchise. Okay. So that's good to know. But again, like you said, we have to take that extra mile. There's an old saying that the white man's ice is colder, and so that a lot of times the black man can have some ice, and the white man comes with ice, and our people will go and buy the ice from the white man because they say, well, the white man's ice is cold. And again, that comes from deep-rooted, you know, self-hatred stigmas that come from the whole slave culture experience.
And once again, I say this: Brother Z is not a 90-year-old man talking about some la-di-da. This used to be back when I was a kid. This brother is older than us, but he's not that old. So he remembers a time when this stuff used to be going on. But what killed it was segregation, because when you start dealing with a person, you couldn't even buy the white man's ice, so you wasn't even concerned about his ice.
Absolutely.
You was concerned about your own ice.
Absolutely.
But as soon as you were able to buy the white man's ice, you wanted to buy his ice, and our ice factories went out of business.
That's right.
As soon as you were able to buy the white man's clothes, and our clothing stores went out of business, and so on and so forth. But you didn't look at the fact that, hey, I'm now included in whatever it is, you know, the white man or whatever there is there, because it's the white man, because what the white man's doing. But you weren't concerned about, wait, if I stop shopping at my brother's store, then who's going to shop at his store? But you're going to shop at their stores. They already got people shopping at their stores, people who look like them. So now they're getting your business and their own business. They're making money off their community and your community. So it's just no hope. It's no hope for you, because you have nothing of substance You know, you own nothing.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. And we have to look at, you know, the fact, the whole psychological effect. I call it the illusion of inclusion. And so this is what the segregation, or as you mentioned, the desegregation aspect of it is. When we see something that we aspire to be, and we leave our own communities, or we leave ourselves, and we go out, well, that's a divide and conquer tactic.
And let me say this too, it's true. Segregation helped everybody. Desegregation helped everybody but you. Because see, the good thing about segregation was it was not only that we couldn't open up in their neighborhoods, they weren't opening up in our neighborhoods either. But see, nowadays, with desegregation, it made them so now the whites and the Arabs can come and own stores in your community, but you still can't own stores in their community. Because I wouldn't mind if so much if desegregation meant we were going to go to their communities and make money off their people, and they make money off our people, because then we make money off each other's people. We have a fair fight.
Absolutely.
But it's not a fair fight. They're making both, and you're not even going to at least go to Bloomfield and say, I'm going to open up a store to take some of their money. You're not even doing that. You just don't own nothing. At all. We don't own not a thing. You had less than 1% of the U.S. economy back in 1890, and 100 years later, after 9,000 elected black officials, a black president, the Civil Rights Movement, you still own 1%, less than 1%.
You know, and in addition to that, Brother Quincy, I mean, we were talking a while back, and I mentioned the fact that Detroit, at one time, was the 5th largest retail market in the nation. I mean, that's huge. I mean, when you talk about being the 5th largest retail market in the nation, we were almost 2 million strong in terms of population, a homeowner capital of the world.
Especially for this, so black people could come here. Thank you.
Sure.
Black people could come here and do big things. You go to Chicago, you go to New York, you go to Philadelphia. They got row houses. Their ghettos don't look have it. Our ghettos that we have now in Detroit are better than half the rich neighborhoods.
Sure.
The quality of housing. You could be a factory worker with no education, have a backyard, a two-car garage.
Absolutely. Sure.
You know,
sure.
At one point, not that long ago, as of 2008, the highest black income neighborhood in the country was in the city of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it used to be the whole city was like that. We had, you know, you could be black, no education, get a job in the factory,
sure.
and make a good living.
Oh, sure. 60,000,
Yeah.
80,000 with overtime.
Retired.
My dad did it, and we're talking 60s and 70s.
Yeah, that's a lot of money back then.
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when he's
There's a lot of
saying
money now, so.
it's not that far. It wasn't that long ago.
Absolutely.
So what people understood more than anything, I think, we had a common. You knew who your enemy was. And I'm not saying enemy like you gotta fight and kill them. Your enemy is anybody who doesn't support what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because they understand that if black people own their own stuff, we're not gonna shop at their stores and they're gonna lose money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they want to keep you to say don't start black, don't business, don't do this. They want to train you in college to be good workers. They don't train you to be big business owners. They want you to be a good worker. Go, but they tell you, your mama say, she don't say go, she say go find you a good job now. You know, not go start you a business and do something to help your community. Go find you a good job. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, and that's been going on for quite a while. We've been hearing that for quite a while. You know, but you know, to what you were saying, I think it's time now for us to turn back within and unite our own. You know, draw that circle and begin to rebuild from within, and be able to associate. The point you made, it's not a problem so much of being able to do business with other ethnic groups, but we have to do that on a foundation where we can associate and not integrate.
Yes.
And I think
desegregation was the worst thing that happened to black people. I'm sorry to say it. Desegregation was the worst thing that ever happened to black people.
Mm-hmm.
Worst ever. Ever. You was doing good after slavery, actually. Directly, you had risen from nothing to being slaves. You were owning things. You were building your community.
Sure. There was a sense of pride.
Yeah. We free now, we about to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But now, what, 150 years, almost 170 years later, what we got?
Well, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we got it.
That's where we are, even in the 21st century. I mean, we have a lot of work to do because of the demise of the black family. And again, I'm not really one to put this blame on any other ethnic group, because I believe as a people, we are the mother and fathers of civilization, for those who understand that and prescribe to that. And so therefore, to whom much is given, much is required.
Mm-hmm.
And this situation, though it is a challenge and though it is unbearable for most, is definitely something that is attainable and overcoming for us as a people. We have brilliant minds, you know, in every aspect, not just entertainment and not just sports, but in terms of science and math. I mean, we built the pyramids. We taught the world.
They don't want you to know that, though. That's why they're going to say Egypt is not in Africa,
Well,
which it is.
that's okay, but the world knows, the older cultures, that we did teach horticulture and agriculture.
And we built the pyramid.
And we architecture,
Yes.
and so forth and so on. So again, right here in Detroit, we have brilliant minds.
We do. We need to. This Detroit should be like Mecca for you people.
Mhm.
For all of us, it should be like Mecca.
It is.
You know, and it is. But it should be It's an 85% black city.
Yeah.
Up north, because you really ain't dealing with getting lynched. You up north, you should be thriving. You should be thriving, but we're not. And I think I want to disagree a little. I don't disagree, but Brother says he puts it on us, which I do hold. Personal responsibility is a big thing, because you can't just blame everybody else for your misfortune.
Sure, that's what I mean.
But you do have to understand that the system was never designed for you to just rise up out of slavery and take over.
That's right.
It was designed for you to fail.
That's right.
But you are playing into the system.
Absolutely.
Like good little children.
Absolutely. It's the illusion of inclusion. So anyone that's able to create an image for you and put it in front of you and play it over and over and over, well, they can control your mind. But again, I think that's what we have to realize, is that we have everything that we need. Our greatest resources are our people, and as we stated earlier on, we have the resources. We just have to identify how those resources can actually work for our well-being.
And they can work for our well-being. It just takes common, because it's not that hard. It's common sense. You know, it's common sense. Do business. Your best friends are people who look like you. In your neighborhood, you live around people that look like you. So why are you giving your money to people who don't look like you?
Sure.
The dollar in the Jewish community bounces 18 times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get too much into that. 18 times.
Right.
The dollar in the
That's right.
Muslim community, not Muslim.
The Middle Eastern.
In the Middle Eastern community,
Sure.
10 times, 11 times, 12 times.
Mm-hmm.
In the Hispanic community, 8 times. In your community, it don't bounce not one time. You get $1, we get $1, and we go out as to any other people but our own.
Mm-hmm.
Southwest Detroit is the biggest contributor to Detroit's economy.
Yes.
And it is not by happenstance that Southwest Detroit is a Hispanic community, because they stick together and they shop with themselves.
Yeah.
And we go to Southwest and we buy all kind of stuff.
Sure.
Which is nothing wrong with experiencing other cultures, but you got to make sure that shouldn't be, you should be, where's Little Africa?
Take care of your home first.
This whole city should be Little Africa.
Absolutely. Well, like you said earlier, I mean, we're still 85% African American or of African descent, and we used to be about 92%, and that was when we had approximately 1.5 million to almost 2 million people here. So, I mean, even though we've lost 1 million people, we're still 85%, and that's powerful.
And we ain't even lost them. You know where they moved? They're not in the city, but they ain't too far. They just in Oakland County somewhere. Because we can get them back. When you start building up your communities, people will want to come back to live. It's not, because for most people, it's a. But yeah, we can get those people back, because for most people, it's not a matter of I want to leave Detroit just because I don't want to be around blacks. Some people are like that, but most times it's that they feel maybe they're not safe. So once you start building the community, and people say, "Wow, it's like Black Mecca over there. We're gonna come back and be a part of this." So we can get our people back. It's just a matter of us doing it.
Well, the other thing here is, I would say, and I agree with you to an extent there. It's just that now we have a lot of other people who don't look like us that have now come in and inhabited spaces and places that used to be, places that we call home. And so we have to look at that. We've lost a lot of population to other places like Atlanta, Arizona, Houston. I mean, and I'm going back to the 80s. I mean, this population flight pretty much started around then. So, but again, we are getting new people coming in, younger people are coming in, I understand that, but we also have this other climate of individuals who are now coming in, living in spaces that were once affordable to us, to our families, but are now that are far, well, other people
Midtown,
like us.
Midtown,
Courtown, Midtown,
oh yes, Courtown.
Downtown.
They've killed Courtown.
The whole town, really. I mean, they're moving back into Highland Park. So again, we have, if you will, multicultural.
It's called gentrification.
Well, Yeah.
They
yeah.
take you.
You can call it gentrification or
Look at Harlem.
or domination.
Harlem is all white now, mostly.
Absolutely.
They take the poor blacks out and they bring the rich whites in, and they make the property. They give you nothing for your house, and then they make it so ridiculous that if you wanted to move back, you couldn't afford to move back.
Right. And so the housing, the whole housing crash, that we've experienced even here in Detroit, is all part of that scheme.
Yes. And this brother Z, is he owned a lot of businesses and does a lot of work in helping create small businesses and setting people up. So I'm gonna do another a link. I'm gonna do a link to my website on the small business page, with just him talking, with just him giving information on black businesses or creating black businesses or whatever.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, we'll put some information out
to help see if you want to do something, you can do something. But the solutions, I believe, and I'm gonna let him get into it too, are look, just be conscious of where you go. It's at least one black. What's the that black-owned bank? I think it's a black-owned bank. I'm gonna get you
First Independent.
First Independent Bank.
Sure.
Put your money in First Independent Bank. Yeah, the fees are a little bit.
Yes.
You know, I understand that, but you're gonna be doing something greater than yourself, because when you die, it don't matter how much money you got. You're gonna die. You can't take it with you, so you need the First Independent Bank. You know, when you next time you glass break at your car, don't go to Safelight, go to Henderson Glass. You know, if next time you want to buy groceries and you live in this particular region or this area, go to Metro Foodland or any other black-owned stores. You know your local places. You got 1918 Bistro on Livernois is a black-owned restaurant.
Sure. Or start your own.
Or start your own.
Start your own.
But if you're not, not everybody can be. If you're not gonna do that, they say if you can't fight, you better at least send ammunition to the front lines.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody gonna be gonna fight, but at least send ammo up. Don't hurt our cause.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because our cause is not for me. I'm not making no money off this. Believe me, I'm not. He not making no money off this. We doing this for you, because when I die, and I'm only 19, hopefully I got another 80 years left, generously, and when he die, because he will die. That's saying
we all gotta go there.
We all gotta go. We need to leave a legacy of something that's going to mean something. Because when we die, I don't want to be, he just worked and he had a good job and he drove a Cadillac, but he didn't really do nothing for nobody. Mm-hmm. That's not how you be, that's not how you advance. So, real quick, the solutions.
Well, the solutions, we have to see ourselves, as viable alternatives. To do for ourselves. And I think that...
do for self.
Do for self, and learn to love each other more and trust each other more. There is no royalty without loyalty.
I like that. Mm-hmm. That's true. And so I'm gonna put these links up for him, and so you guys can get more information on building businesses and development if you guys want to go on that route. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.